the eyes. Good. And then before we start to move around at all, let's just take a big full inhale through the nose. Go ahead and hold that breath in. Sip in a little bit more air if you can, and then open your mouth and let it out. Good. Let's do it one more time. Notice how full you can get the lungs on the inhale. So take that inhale, hold it, sip in a little more air, and then as you exhale, squeeze all the air out, every last drop. Good. And then just start that process of breathing exclusively in and out of the nostrils, as long as that's possible this morning. And basically just finding a peaceful environment. Good. So, based off of all the old yoga texts that we study, the first step in this process is really just to observe. So before any mental or physical exercises are done, you're just supposed to observe and notice any muscular tension. Good. So just being able to relax, you first have to start to notice the opposite of relaxation, and that's contraction. So just notice, is there anywhere that you can let go of a little bit? And basically a little rehearsal for Savasana. You'll notice it's a lot easier at the end of the practice, but if you can find it now, then you're that much ahead of the curve. Good. And then after you start to drop into that observational mode, just start to hug the knees into the chest. So you're still observing even though you're moving. Good. With the knees into the chest, maybe rock left and right if it feels good on your spine, just kind of observing the tension or the lack thereof in your sacrum, lower back. Good. And then just straighten your legs straight up. If you can get them perpendicular to the mat, that's a good goal to have, but don't force that. Just reach the arms forward, palms on the ground. See how straight you can make your legs. Good. So you could either flex your feet back so the toes are back to the nose, or if you do that demi-point thing where you press the balls of your feet forward, that's good too. Good. And just start to notice, feel the muscles on the tops of your thighs, the hip flexors. Feel the hamstrings a little bit. Don't worry if your legs aren't completely straight. They will be eventually. Good. Go ahead and keep an eye on your left foot. See if you can keep it right where it is. Lower the right one down until it's a few inches from the floor. Really pull up on the right quadricep. So you actually, if you were to look at your kneecaps, you'll see the skin there stretching a little bit. Good. And then lift your right leg up. Lower the left leg down, and believe it or not, for those of you who ever are wanting to arm balance, or maybe you already have a practice, a lot of that is really just in your legs, doing what we're doing right here. Good. Lift the left leg up. Lower both legs down simultaneously until they're a few inches from the floor. And just hold. Good. Good. Hug the knees into the chest. We'll take a gentle twist. Keep the right knee in, extend the left leg forward, and twist the right knee to the left. Good. And come back to the center line, switch sides. Good. Even when you're doing this simple twist and it's early in the practice, see if you can let go. Anytime you're twisting, you're activating all these chakras that run up and down the center line, the spinal cord. And if you can just relax into that, you feel that spine kind of reset. I know it's early on, but if you can practice that now, it'll be easier in our deeper twists. Good. Come back to the center line. You're going to reach the legs up again. This time you're going to turn your palms up and you start to lift your chest off the ground. Good. Reach your arms off the ground a few inches, maybe 6 inches or so. Pull your shoulders off the ground so you're using your core. So you're crunching. Good. Now from here, see if you can lift your hips up an inch. Just up. Instead of back, feel like your heels are pressing up, and then set the hips down. Good. Just pulse. Do it again. Lift the hips up, and then set them down. Good, lift them up. And then set them down. 2 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, set. Inhale, lift. Exhale, set. Stay here. Keep an eye on your left foot. Lower the right leg down. Try not to move your left leg. And notice if there's anything you can relax. You know, already I see a little tension in the face on a few of you. Actually, a bunch of you. Which is fine, you know. It's just observing the practice. Good, switch. Lift your right leg up. Keep an eye on your right foot. Lower the left leg down. Can you keep it where it is? You know, if the answer is no, that's fine. Just observe. Good, left leg up. Lower both legs down simultaneously. So this one gets a little tricky. So don't lower them to the point where your lower back takes the pressure. Good. If you need to bend the knees a little, bend those knees. Last 3. Good. 2. And 1. Hug the knees into the chest. And take a moment. Take the hands behind your head. Interlace the fingers. Introducing a little twist. Straighten your right leg. And then twist the right elbow to the left knee or outer left knee. And then back to center as you inhale. Twist to the other side. Exhale. Good. Do it with your breath. Good. That's 3. And 4. Good. 5. I'm kind of jealous. I was going to do these with you. 6, but there's no room. 7. 8. This is called warming up. Just kind of getting into the core. 9. Good. 10. Notice if you're putting too much pressure on your neck. 11. 12. Because you really don't need to put pressure on your neck. 13. 14. The slower you go, 15. The more muscle fibers you use, 16. And 17. 18. Really straighten those legs as you pedal them. 19. 20. Keep going. You got this. Lift your shoulders higher. 21. 22. 23. And 24. 25. Keep going. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, almost there. Keep it up. 31, 32, 33. Lift higher. 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. 39 and 40. Last 60. Just kidding. 10, 9, 8, 7. Come on, lift higher. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Release. Good. Hug the knees into your chest. Go ahead and drop the knees to the left, both of them. Open your right arm to the right. Turn your face over to the right. Let that spine reset. Breathe deeply. It's not really easy to breathe deep when you're twisting, but it's easy to try. You know, so for those of you that are newer in the practice here, all the benefits of yoga, they just come from trying. They don't come from perfection. They don't come from stretching and getting your head on the floor in some of these stretches. Good. Come back to the center line. Drop the knees to the right. Open your left arm to the left. And twist. Good. Really breathing wide is the kind of breath you want to find, so the rib cage expands. Good. Go ahead and come back to the center line. You're going to grab the hamstrings now, the backs of the legs. Start to rock and roll your way back and forth. So get a few rolls in, get some momentum going. Eventually, when you get enough momentum, you're going to be in plank pose. So cross those ankles, plant the palms down, step your feet back. Good. Give yourself about 5 breaths here to adjust to the pose. So if you need to do a push-up, if you need to fidget around, get it out of your system, because we don't want to be fidgeting around for 90 minutes. But do check the alignment. Make sure the shoulders are over the hands or the wrists. And if that's too much, you know, on the wrist, you could back off and have the shoulders behind the wrists a little bit. Good. I can't emphasize enough about the hands. I could talk for 90 minutes about your hands and how important they are in yoga. I'd say outside of your spinal column, the palms and the hands are the most important part, just because you're on your hands so much. So really press the floor away from you. Spread the fingers, a lot of emphasis in the thumb and the index finger. Good. The knees are welcome to come down at any point during this. It's kind of like a disclaimer that we say, but at the same time, there's a purpose to it. So if you ever feel like that's necessary, then just do that. Good. Lower the forearms down one by one. So you're in what's called forearm plank. So the good news so far is that to attend this class so far, zero flexibility is required. I mean, that's true for the entire practice, but especially now. We're just building heat and a little bit of fire. Good. Just see how calm you can be in a pose that's pretty strong. Good. Last 5 counts here. Belly's drawing up, tailbone's long, 4. Even the back of the neck should be long, 3. The knees are always welcome to come down here too, 2. I want you to keep your forearms where they are in 1, and then just lay down, release the tops of your feet. It's called Sphinx pose. Check your alignment. You want the shoulders to be directly over the elbows. There's a straight line there. You want to pull those elbows in tight to the side body. Good. Relax your glutes, relax your legs. And then just descend your shoulder blades back. See how long you can get with your neck. Very nice. Just feel a gentle back bend. Good. Release your chin to the floor. Bring your hands behind you to your lower back. Interlace the fingers there. So first keep the elbows bent for a second. And then stretch the chest and the collarbone. See if you can get that long. And then after you get that, then you could straighten your arms. After you straighten your arms, peel your chest off the ground. Start to lift. Notice even though your head's off the ground, you're pointing the crown of your head forward so there's no unnecessary tension or wrinkles on the backside of your neck. And then lastly, add the legs. So the toes point back, the knees lift up. It's like a variation of Savasana, the locust pose. Good. Very nice. And just breathe. And really your first back bend today should feel kind of nice. Keep the height that you have. Bring your thumbs by your upper ribs. Pull the elbows in again. Setting up for cobra. Set the feet down. Inhale, cobra. Lift the chest a little higher, but don't force it. And then exhale, chin to the ground. 2 more just like that. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift the heart. And then exhale, chin down. Good. 1 more. Maybe up dog if you're ready. If you're new, try not to straighten your arms. Good. And then downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. So I'd say one of the most commonly confused things in this practice when you're newer is up dog and cobra. What's the difference? Cobra is more of an elementary back bend that you should probably stay with for a few years in your practice before you move on to up dog. So if you see someone straightening their arms and you're new and you want to straighten yours, just know you're not ready for that. Eventually, patience. Good. Slide back into plank pose, shoulders over the wrists. See if you can lift your right toes off the ground, just to gauge where you are today physically. If the answer is no, I don't want to do that, then you're just going to skip it and set the toes down. Good. And then switch sides, right toes down, lift your left toes off the ground, but just an inch or so. So you're using the musculature of your right thigh. Good. Set the toes down, press back, downward facing dog. Good. Spread the hands, the fingers, press the hips back. Good. Take an inhale, bend the knees, look forward, and then walk, step, or jump the feet up to the top of the mat. And then just stay here, forward fold. Maybe separate the feet if you need to. Make sure they're parallel. Just hang out. Opposite elbows. It's a nice option. Just hanging out, dangling. At this point, you're so involved and so interested in your breath and what you're doing that nothing can really affect you. If there was a siren to go drive by and you could hear some loud noises, it wouldn't affect your practice. If somebody has a weird breathing technique next to you, it's not bothering you. No, you're only taking the good things from the energy that you feel, and you're leaving the ones that you could view as bad. Good. Take the hands behind your back. Introduce the shoulders into the practice. So interlace the fingers. And again, bend the elbows and get long and broad across the chest first. And then straighten the arms, send the knuckles off the back or even overhead. Good. Let that neck go. Let that breath flow. Good. Release the hands down to the ground. Bend the knees enough to protect your back here, and then roll your way up to standing. Give yourself a few breaths. And when you finally do come all the way up, reach the arms over the head. And maybe lean back a little at the top. And then pull the hands to the heart as you exhale. Take a moment. Close your eyes. Come back to observing any muscular tension. Maybe set an intention. Like the calm before the storm. Take one more big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, let it go. And then let's move. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep your arms up and over the head. And forward fold as you exhale. Bend at the waist. Inhale, flatten the back. Go ahead and just step back to plank pose and hold. Good. Lift your right toes off the ground an inch. And see if you can bend your elbows halfway. Good. Press back up, set your right toes down, and switch toes. Lift your left toes off the ground. Bend the elbows, do it mindfully. Press back up, left toes down, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, lift the hips, bend the knees. Exhale, step or lightly hop through top of the mat. Inhale, flatten out, get longer. Exhale, fold in, get deeper. Press down, sweep your arms overhead, no rush. And then hands to the heart center. Good. Back, overhead, inhale, sweep. Exhale, swan dive, chest leads. Inhale, flatten the back, hold. Step back to plank pose and pause. Good. Lift your left toes off the ground an inch. See if you can bend your elbows lower halfway. And then press up. Switch sides, left toes down, right toes up. Use your elbows in, lower halfway. Press back up, left, right toes down, downward facing dog. Last round of these. Inhale, wind those hips back and up. Exhale, step or lightly jump through top of the mat. Inhale, glance forward. Exhale, fold in, press down, stand and sweep those arms overhead. And then draw it in, exhale. Good. Inhale, sweep and reach, arms rise. Exhale, fall forward, lay the torso over the thighs. Now listen, I want you to flatten the back and pause, and then step your left leg back. Keep the right leg forward. Come up to your fingertips. Stack the right knee over your right ankle, straighten your left leg, and then run your arms down by your sides. They're just going to set up on this first one. So you might pull your right hip back an inch or so. You're going to use the inner thighs to help you do that. Good. See if you can get long through the back of the neck. Basically looking for space anywhere you can find it. Good. Take one more inhale. Bring the hands to the ground. Step the left foot forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, flatten the back. Keep the length. Step your right leg back into a high lunge. The high lunge just means the right knee's off the ground. A low lunge would be the right knee on the ground. When you're ready, run those arms down by your sides. So it's kind of an incremental process. First, you step the leg back. Second, you check your alignment, left knee's over left ankle, or not, at least not past it. Then you came up to the fingertips. The shoulders pulled down the spine. The very last thing you did was you reached those arms down by your sides. And then you really use them to find more space. Good. Take one more inhale. Hands down. Step up to the top of the mat as you exhale. Inhale, flatten the back. Forward fold, exhale. Good. Together, feet together, chair pose. Bend the knees. Reach the arms up. Good. So in chair pose, if the feet are touching, that's okay. But you want the big toes touching and a little bit of space between your heels. Perfect. Take one more inhale like this, and then stand up, hands to the heart. Come back to chair pose, one breath. And then forward fold, exhale, straight legs. Inhale, flatten the back, hold here. Step your left leg back, crescent pose. Good, so inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the ground. Step the left foot up. Inhale, flatten the back, change sides. Step your right leg back, crescent. So inhale, sweep the arms, pause. And then on the exhale, hands down, step the right foot up. Inhale, flatten the back. Forward fold, exhale, squat down, chair pose, bend the knees. Let's stand up, hands together, exhale. Back to chair pose, please. Forward fold, exhale over the knees. Inhale, flatten. Now let's do it again. Step your left leg back, crescent pose. On the inhale, sweep the arms, power your way up. Exhale, release the hands down, step the left foot up. Inhale, flatten the back. And then keep the length, step the right leg back as you exhale. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Good. Exhale, hands to the ground, step up top of the mat. Inhale, flatten the back. Forward fold, exhale, bend the knees, squat down, hips low, arms high. Stand up, hands together, exhale. Good. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. This time, flatten out, and you'll take your first vinyasa, step or jump back, lower down. Take it slow with precision. Open that heart, enjoy the back bend. And then when you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Very nice. Good. Slide forward to plank. Hug your right knee to your chest. Really press the floor away from you here. So straight arms. And really use the core here. Go ahead and step that foot through top of the mat. If it didn't get all the way up there, scoot it up there with your right hand. And then come up to crescent pose again. Sweep your arms up. Good. So start to twist to the right side of the room and spread your arms. And notice how active your legs are here. And as active as your legs are, notice how calm you still are. Good. From here, gently set your left hand on the floor, inside the right foot. Open your right chest a little bit, and then extend the right arm out and over your right ear, like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you. Like really. Like you really are reaching through that hand like there's no end to the hand. At the same time, you're letting that shoulder blade plug back, and then you're really driving that left heel back. Gorgeous. From here, reach your right arm up. Now, pause here. See how slowly you can start to roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. And then after you get that to happen, lift that right foot off the ground, swing it back. Good. Stack the legs on top. And whatever you do, don't fall. Just kidding. Falling's learning. Drive that left palm down. Feel that left oblique engage to lift your hips up. Good. Knee can come down at any point. Good. Reach that right arm over the right ear. Again, like you're trying to touch that wall in front of you. We'll do this again, so if you, no need to take it deeper yet. Good. And then just as mindfully as you went into it, reach the right arm up. Let's move out of it slow. Right palm down, plank pose. Good. Pause here. Lower the elbows, the forearms down one by one. Good. And see if you can stay calm. Good. Can you lift your right toes off the ground? These are just questions. And then switch. Right toes on the ground. Try the left side. And remember, it's progress. It's not perfection. Left toes down. Slowly come back to plank pose, one palm at a time. Take a juicy inhale at the top. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Good. Slide forward to plank pose. Hug your left knee into your chest. Just going to hold it for 3. Really squeeze it up there. Get all the contraction in the core that you can. 2. And then in 1, step it through. Scoot it up with your hand if you need to. Crescent pose. Stay on the back toes. A little bend in the back knee will help. Find your balance. Feel the belly lift a bit. And when you're ready, open up to the left. Spread your arms. Good. And just kind of notice, what are the eyes doing? Usually, whatever the eyes are doing, the mind is following. That's why it's so nice to close the eyes sometimes. Good. And then very easily, keep your legs strong. Place your right hand down, fingertips or palm. Open your left chest and then extend it over your left ear. And try to get so long that you feel the skin of your back right knee stretching up. Very nice. Good. So in yoga, the way that we race is to see who can go the slowest. So let's race back to side plank. Reach your left arm up. Roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. And swing your left leg back. Stack the legs. Not too shabby. And when you get there, engage that right shoulder. You know, if you just had wrist surgery this week, chances are you're going to be on your right forearm here. You know, that would be a cue that you're listening to yourself. Reach that left arm out and over your left ear. Yeah, come down for a second. See that right shoulder? You want to stack it over the wrist. See how it's way in front? Yeah, there you go. Hips are lifting. Let's see how mindfully we can exit. Reach the left arm up, and then plank pose. And then with a very good attitude, lower the elbows, the forearms down one by one. In fact, you might even have a little smile on your face. You're so dang happy to be in this pose. And body's starting to become more alive. This time, try to lift your left toes off the ground. Good. Switch left toes down, right toes up. If you can keep your breath deep when you do this kind of stuff, the chances are of your breath being deep outside of this room are going to be pretty good. Set your right toes down. Sphinx pose, lay down. So remember the elbows stack underneath the shoulders. Make sure the arms are parallel. Pin the elbows into the side body. Good. And this time you might start to arch up a little bit. You could even look up if it feels good for your back. Good. So we just did contraction, right? Now you're feeling a little relaxation. Observing the muscular contractions. You could release the chin to the floor, bring the hands behind the back. We were here before. Interlace the fingers again. Again, spread the chest, the collarbones, then work the arms straight. And then lift. Lift everything off the ground. Press the pubic bone down to lift higher, but it's equally lifting torso and legs. You're not overlifting one or the other. Good. On this one, it's going to be a little bit different. You're either going to stay right here, or you're going to reach the arms forward in front of you. Water bottles beware. Good. Now, it's more about length here than it is about height. But it might be about height if you make it about height. The last two. Think about Sphinx pose in one, and then forearms down, stack it up. Good. Crawl your way up a little bit. Find a relaxation for a few breaths. Descend the shoulder blades, but ascend your heart. Good. And then little by little, tuck the toes first. Lift the shins and the knees second. Lift the thighs third, and then lift the lower belly last. Good. Walk your feet in, dolphin pose. So they're going to walk in anywhere from 6 inches to 4 feet, depending on how much you do this pose. It's a ton of strength in the shoulders. Chances are, if you hate this pose, you just need to do it more. I think that's true about everything. Things that we don't like, isn't that true? Balance. So it's not always about what we want to do. It's more about what we need to do. Lift your right leg, but if it's going to make you come out of the pose, don't lift your right leg. Good. Switch. Lift your left leg. Make sure all the toes are pointing down so that you're not externally rotating yet. We'll get there soon. Good. Left foot down. Downward facing dog. However you want to get there is fine. Good. And then just drink that air. Breathe deep. Maybe finding that ujjayi sound. And anytime you start to find a little panicking mode with the mind, it happens in this class sometimes. Just come to that ujjayi sound. Let it calm you. Good. Inhale, slide forward. Take the vinyasa. Exhale, lower slow. Reset the mind. Inhale, turn it into the flow. And then exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, let's move on. Inhale, wind the hips back and up. Exhale, step or lightly jump through. Top of the mat. Inhale, glance forward, flatten. Exhale, fold in. Deepen, chair pose, bend the knees, please. Good, stand up, hands together, exhale. Stay here. Shift the weight into the right foot. Lift your left foot off the ground. Hug the left knee into your chest. Good. Now we're going to move into tree pose. So place that left heel as high up that right thigh as you can. If you can't get it very high, it's okay to modify, which will be down near the calf. Yeah, bring the hands together in front of the heart. Eventually grow the limbs of the tree up. So when you're balanced. Good, so if you have trouble in this pose, you really want to press your thigh against your foot. It's going to help you. Very nice. Just introducing a little balance into the posture. I don't do this pose very much in my class. It's because I hate it. But there is a purpose for it. Start to point your left knee forward and then straighten the left leg. And now notice if you needed to lean back in order to straighten the leg. The truth is that you didn't need to lean back, but you might have. So just see if you can stand up a little taller, even if it means lowering the leg. Good, lift a little higher if you can. And then warrior three, hinge forward from the waist. Kick that left leg behind you. Place the arms wherever's convenient for you. So I usually run mine down by my sides. If I have an injury that I'm practicing with, I usually place them on top of my right thigh. If I'm pushing myself real hard, I reach them forward. And then sometimes I'm falling all over the place. I don't have time to place my hands anywhere. Good. Keep that left leg the same height that it is. Drop both hands down to the ground. Crawl the hands a little closer into the toes. Relax your face. Relax your neck, your nose. Check out the left toes. Are they pointing down instead of out? Because that's what we want. Good. And then if you're going to lift the leg higher, do it from the inseam of your left leg. Very nice. Last inhale here. Feet together as you exhale. Inhale, flatten the back. Fold in as you exhale. Bend the knees, chair pose, hips low, arms high. Stand up, hands together, heart center. Shift the weight into the left foot. Hug the right knee into your chest. Pull it up there. And then we'll go into that tree pose again. Just start to tuck that right heel as high up the thigh as you can. Apply some pressure as you press into the thigh. And then press the thigh into the foot. When you're ready, reach the arms to the sky. So notice where the eyes are doing. Usually that's how you balance most effectively. Good. Notice how as soon as I say the word fall, it increases the chance that you might. Good. Good focus. Point that right knee forward and then straighten it. Very nice. And this is your right hip flexor. You know, it's a muscle that doesn't get a lot of use unless we use it, which doesn't happen a lot unless we're in yoga. Certain sports and athletic events will strengthen this muscle. And it's nice to have a strong hip flexor. It's even nicer to have a loose one. We'll stretch it later. Come back to warrior three. Bend that left knee. Extend the right leg back. Do it gracefully. Even if you fall, do it gracefully. You know, there's something to be said for being able to relax during a moment that requires or seems to require tension. You know, they say if you're surfing and you fall and you were to hit a rock, you're supposed to completely relax your body. You take one more inhale, drop the hands down to the ground as you exhale. Because something about relaxing the body, you just bounce right off of whatever you happen to hit. So that's kind of what we're practicing here. You know, see where you can relax. You know, obviously you need your left leg to be strong. You need your right leg to be strong so that you can find more of releasing the tension. But the neck, the face, they have no place of tension. Nice and relaxed. We'll take one more inhale, feet together as you exhale. Flatten the back, fingertips or shins. This time step or hop it back and lower down. Keep the elbows in. Cobra inhale, just surf that oxygen. Exhale, belly lifts back and up. Down dog again. Good. Use your core strength and step your right foot through top of the mat. Spin your back foot flat. Walk your right foot to the right 1 inch. Run your arms down by your sides. Good. So all the technique in Warrior One happens before you come up to Warrior One. Feel the right hip pull back a little. That right knee strong and stacked. Drive through that left heel and then come up Warrior One. Sweep the arms overhead. Gorgeous. So at some point, the OCD part of the mind, which everybody has a little bit, some are a little more on the right side of the spectrum, you gotta let it go. So the technique only matters to the point of protecting your body. Good. Reach up a little higher here. Sink a little deeper if you want. One more inhale. Hands to the ground as you exhale, right leg back. Take the vinyasa, which you're welcome to skip at any point. Good. And then move on to the left leg. With core strength, step it through. Spin your back foot flat. Walk your left foot to the left 1 inch. Arms down by your sides just to start. We're just going to be here for a few breaths, long enough to feel the inseam of your right leg get strong and straight. Seal the outer edge of your right foot down. And then it should be pretty simple. Pull the left hip back, drive that left foot down, come all the way up, Virabhadrasana 1. Good. So we're in that neutral or almost internal rotation of the hip. So you can almost feel that thigh spiraling in. Gorgeous. Let's sink down and reach up. Take one more inhale. Hands to the ground as you exhale. Left leg back, lower slow. Good. Inhale, open up. We're going to turn this into a flow. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. So traditional style, Ashtanga, Series B. Take as many breaths as you'd like when you flow on your own. But for now, follow me. Inhale, lift the hips, bend the knees. Exhale, step or slingshot, top of the mat. Inhale, flatten out. Exhale, fold and round, squat down, chair pose. Just one breath. Stand up, hands to heart, exhale. Back to chair pose, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Flatten the back, inhale. Step or jump back, lower slow. Warrior One on both sides. Do it one breath, one movement. 3 more rounds after that on your own. Feel free to rest if you need to. We'll take one more minute. So the next time you do the left side, it'll be the last time for now, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll patiently wait for you. Good. Now start to feel a little more space in your down dog. Start to work those shoulders away from the ears. Good. Spread those upper arms. Good. And then let's move on. Let's step the right foot through, spin your back foot flat, warrior two. So check your alignment. Right heel doesn't need to walk to the right at all. Circle the left arm open. So the alignment's a little different. Check out your left toes. Angle them in slightly. And spread the arms. Give yourself a few breaths to find the pose and then be completely still. Good. So the right knee angles towards the right wall or the person behind you. Good. That left chest opens a little more than the right usually. Good. And then we've been moving a lot, so now all of a sudden the mind is kind of confused because we're being really still in the pose. So you can calm it down. Can you sink a little bit deeper in that leg? Good. Turn your right palm up, reverse warrior, sweep it back. This should feel really nice. Just don't change your legs. Keep them exactly the same. Good. Come back to warrior two. Straighten your right knee. Pivot your right foot in parallel to the left. Bring your hands to your hips. If you need to bend the knees an inch, you can do that. Otherwise, make your legs really strong. With a flat back, lean forward. Just take it slow until you get to that halfway point. And then once you do, drop the hands down to the ground. Good. Then crawl the hands either underneath or reach out and grab your feet. Basically, keep the length. Keep the legs strong. And breathe. Good. So you can really feel the suction of the feet, the outer edges plugging down, the inner edges. There's like all these little tiny rewards throughout the practice. This is one of them. But it's not as much of a reward if we were to just jump into this posture right off the bat. You got to work for it. You got to be warmer, a little more open. Good. We'll be back here in no time. Bring the hands back to your waist. Come out the same way you came into it, nice and slow. Good. Pivot your left toes to the back of the room. Set up for warrior two. Bend the knee. Angle your right toes in just slightly. Spread the arms a lot. Angle the left knee to the person behind you or the wall behind you. Very nice. So what we're trying to do is keep that left knee in a fixed position. In other words, we don't want to move it to the right at all. If you get fatigued, you can straighten it. If you want more, you could bend it deeper. But that's okay. Good, but see if you can sit a little deeper in your left thigh, just so you know where your edge is. Flip your left palm up, reverse warrior, sweep it behind you. Enjoy the stretch. Right hand is very gently placed wherever it is. Good, come back to warrior two. Sit a little bit deeper, take a few. See if you can relax your neck and your shoulders. Good, straighten the left leg, pivot the left foot in, clasp your hands behind your back. Inhale, open the chest. If you need to bend the knees, you could do that. And then fold forward on an exhale, hinge at your waist. Good, another little reward. Good, so after you kind of get in that folding position, the last thing are the knuckles. Go as far over the head or off the back as they can go. And just let that neck hang. Good. Release the hands down to the ground. Crawl over to your right foot. Pivot your right toes to the front of the room. Good. Bend the right knee a little bit. Step up to the top of the mat. Feet together. Inhale, flatten your back. And then forward fold as you exhale. Squat down, come into chair pose, and hold. So in this chair pose, see if you can lift your right foot off the ground an inch. Just hold it there. And so it's a little bit of balance. The left leg's really working, the ankles. Good, set it down. Switch sides, lift the left foot off the ground. Good, we'll come back to this later, it'll come in handy. Set the foot down, sit a little deeper, palms together, twist to the right. Hook the left elbow outside the right leg. Good, so use the elbow. Keep the knees hugging towards each other. That's gonna really help you in the pose. Good, but you gotta set it up from the ground up. So if the feet aren't touching or parallel, then you're setting yourself up for danger, a hazardous situation. Beautiful. Come back to chair. Take it easy. Switch sides as you exhale. Right elbow out or left knee. Good. So consolidate those hips together. Pull that left hip in. Pull the right hip in. Let that chest lift a little bit. Breathe deeply. Good. One last inhale here. Forward fold on the exhale. Inhale, flatten the back. Step back to plank pose, hold. Good. Lower the elbows down one by one. Step your feet together. Good. This time, see if you can roll onto the outer edge of the left foot. We did this earlier when we were on our arms, our palms. Sometimes this is easier, sometimes it's harder. Either way, try to just tune into the sensation. Good. If you want to reach the right arm over the right ear, you could do that, but you don't need to. And then really lift out of those hips here. And we're going to switch, but do it slow. Right arm up, place the forearm down. With control, outer edge of the right foot, reach that left arm up. Find the stability through the right arm. And then if you want to, reach the left arm out and over the left ear. Gorgeous. And if you fall, just get up with a little smile on your face. It's a practice of meditation. Left arm up, forearm plank. Come back to plank pose, muscle it up, and then downward facing dog. I think it's time for lion's breath. Everybody fill the lungs up, inhale, stick the tongue out, let it go. Ah. Let's do it one more time. Big inhale, no shame in yoga, stick the tongue out. Ah. Good. Sweep the right leg back this time. Be mindful of the person behind you. Right knee to the right elbow. Exhale. Hold it there. If you have an arm balance practice, you could bend the elbow and rest it there. Otherwise, we're just going to sweep it back again. Good. Second time, knee to elbow. Squeeze it over. Good. Inhale, sweep it all the way back. Third time, tap that elbow maybe a little higher up. And then sweep it back. This time, step it through. Spin the back foot flat, warrior two. Circle that left arm behind you, open it up. Gorgeous. Very nice. And this time, reach your arm straight up. Like you're squeezing something between your hands, but there's distance between your hands, like a foot between the hands. Good. Really pull that right hip in, and then start to lean to the right. Good. You might just take it a few inches. You might take it pretty deep. Either way, you'll know when you've gone too far because you'll be collapsing on the right side body. Good, and just hold it. Good. From here, keep your left arm where it is. Place your right forearm on your right thigh. Or slide the right hand down to the ground if you want to go deeper. Maybe use a block. Good. And really reach through that left arm. Extend that arm over that left ear. Turn that pinky down, that thumb up. And press through that left leg. Very nice. Good. From here, reverse warrior. Come back up. Use strength. Try not to change the legs. And then come right back where you were. Forearm to thigh or hand on the floor. 2 more like that. Let's see how slow we can do a reverse warrior. And then exhale, forearm or hand down. Good, last time, no rush. Inhale, sweep it back, lots of strength. And then exhale, right hand down. This time take that left arm, drop it to the lower back. Good. So you're gonna either stay in this half bind, which means that left arm, that left hand takes the inner right thigh. Feel free to take the full bind here. Slide that right hand underneath the right thigh. And clasp the hands, but clasp them right around that right hip. Yeah. And then pull up. Good. Just find a sensation that you're not necessarily comfortable with, but that you can tolerate for about 5 deep breaths. Good. Tap into the temporariness of the pose. Good. Take one last inhale. Set your right hand down. Reach your left arm up, and then place your left hand down. Spin onto your left toes and walk your right foot a few inches to the right. Hands are inside the foot. Come down to the forearms if you like. Good. If you want to set that left knee down, you can. But if you want the deeper stretch, keep the knee off the floor. Good. Come back to the relaxation element. Understand contraction. And then see if you can relax anything that's contracting. Good. Go ahead and set that left knee down on the ground. Come up to the palms and bend your left knee. Reach back with your right hand. See if you can take a hold of the foot. So you're almost on the left thigh above the knee rather than on top directly on the tendon of the kneecap. If you want to come down to your left forearm, you can do that. Oh, this is that hip flexor. I promised you the stretch. And here it is. Release the foot. Frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes. Lift the left knee up. Step back to plank pose. Good. Lift your left toes off the ground. And then bend the elbows if you have it in you, lower halfway. Press up. Set your left toes down. Switch toes. Right toes up an inch. Bend the elbows lower. Press back up. Right toes down. Downward facing dog. Good. Lift your left leg back. Big inhale. Left knee, left elbow. Arm balance if you have it. Exhale. Otherwise, sweep it back again. Strengthen the muscles. Second time, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, sweep it back. Third time, get it as high up on that arm as you can. Good. Inhale, sweep it back. And then this time, we're going to step it through. Back foot flat, warrior 2. Circle that right arm open. Calm yourself down. Good. Good. Reach the arm straight up. Feel like you're squeezing something between the hands. When you feel like you're squeezing something between the hands, it helps you recruit more muscles. You can actually draw the shoulders down more. And then a lot of awareness to the left hip crease. Pull it back and in and start to lean to the left, even if it's just an inch. Take it to your own degree. You're going to see people in here almost lay over that left thigh. You're going to see people go 45 degrees, which is what I would probably do. Don't try to push yourself too far in this pose. Keep your back leg strong and straight. Gorgeous. Good. Keep your right arm where it is. Rest your left forearm on your left thigh, but don't collapse. You can bring the hand down to the ground if you like. And by collapsing, I mean, did that shoulder on the left shoulder come closer to your ear? If it did, you collapsed. So draw that shoulder away from the ear and see how long you can get in the cervical spine. Good. And just keep that back leg fired up. You don't want to change your legs at all. It's better to just stay in this pose than to change your legs as we start to flow. Inhale, reverse warrior, sweep it back. Good. Exhale, forearm to thigh or hand on the ground. Take it slow. Inhale, reverse warrior, recruit those muscle fibers. Exhale, forearm or hand down. One more to go. Inhale, reverse it. And then exhale, left hand to the earth. Right hand to the lower back. Good. So more important in this pose is just opening that right chest. And then if that happens to be convenient for you to take your hands together, then do it. You know, if you're one of those people who wants to bind real badly, but you just haven't been able to yet, your arms aren't very long. It doesn't mean you're not a good person. Breathe. Feel that lift. Maybe look up if it's okay on your neck. Last 3 breaths. Take one more inhale. Set the left hand down. Reach the right arm up. And then slowly place your right hand on the ground. Keep your hands inside the left foot and spin onto your right toes. Walk your left foot to the left, any degree that you're comfortable with. And then maybe come down to the forearms. If you need to set your knee down, set your knee down. Good. Understand contraction, and then see if you can relax anything contracting. Face, jaw, right leg. And then everybody release that right knee down, come up to the palms, get into that hip flexor, bend the right knee, press through that right palm to start the pose and reach back with your left hand. And if you can grab the foot, great. Come down to the forearm. If you can't go for that foot yet, not a big deal. This means you have really tight hip flexor. Good. Very nice. Last breath here. Exhale, release, frame your left foot, tuck your right toes, lift your knee off the ground, plank pose, step back and hold. Good, just hold plank. Either hold it or lift your right toes off the ground. And either hold that or bend the elbows lower halfway. And press back up, set the right toes down, try the left toes. Good, bend the elbows lower. Press up, left toes down, downward facing dog. Unplug your hands, crawl them back to your feet. Feet are going to be hips width or wider apart, parallel. Take your peace fingers this time, grab the big toes. Inhale, lengthen out, see how long you can get, and then fold in as you exhale. Good. Yet another reward. Let that neck go. Feel all 4 corners of your feet being used. Plug them down. Good. Release the toes. Slide your hands underneath the feet. So lift your toes off the ground here. Slide your palms all the way underneath your feet. Bend your knees as deeply as you need to in order to get that to happen. Good. And then just kind of massage those wrist creases, the toes maybe. Keep some weight in the heels. And go ahead and release that. Roll your way up to standing. Put a bend in the knees to protect the back. Bring the hands to the heart center. And then step up to the top of the mat. Good. Chair pose. Bend the knees, squat down. Lift your right foot off the ground. Good. So go ahead and drape that right knee over the left knee. We're going to go into eagle leg variation. If you can tuck the toes, do it. Otherwise, don't obsess over it. And then wrap the arms. Right arm's going to go under the left arm. So right leg over, right arm under. Lift the elbows a bit. Send the hands forward a bit, but not too far. Shoulders down the spine. And then start to hinge forward from your waist. Don't be attached to how far you can go. Some of you can get the elbows beyond the knees. Great. No worries if you can't. Beautiful. Take a few deep breaths here. Good. So keep the legs like they are. Place your right fingertips on the ground underneath your right shoulder. Untangle that right leg behind you like you're going to warrior 3, and then just reach your left arm up, twisting half moon pose. Gorgeous. If you need to readjust and climb up to the fingertips of the right hand, do that. So you're long and tall as possible. Open that left chest and drive that right heel back. Flex your right foot. Very nice. One of the more difficult postures in the practice. Good. Take one more inhale here. Place your left hand down on the ground. Good. So you have two options here. Crawl the hands a little closer and enjoy the standing split, or bend the left knee enough to get your palms on the ground. And then bend that left knee a little bit. Do kick-ups for handstand. Just do about 7 little hop-ups. You don't have to lift your left foot off the ground more than 6 inches. Land softly if you can. Good. And then from that standing splits, everybody feet together, top of the mat. Inhale, flatten the back. And then forward fold, exhale, bend the knees, squat down, chair pose. Hold here. Lift your left foot off the ground an inch. I'm going to do it all over again. Drape the left knee over the right. If you can tuck the toes, do it. You'll notice a difference on this side for sure. Left arm underneath right. Left knee over right. Good. Elbows lift, forearms forward a bit, shoulders down the spine. When you're ready, keep the length and hinge from your waistline. If the elbows go past the knees, don't get too excited. If they don't get too frustrated. Breathe deeply and freely. It takes a few years to master the pose. Good. So let me walk you through it. Undo the arms, place the left fingertips on the floor right under the shoulder. Untangle that left leg behind you, and then just drive the right arm straight up. Open that chest a lot. Good. See how straight you can make your left leg? Good. Beautiful. Those hips are even. Good, right there. Perfect. And you're just breathing. Good. Last 3. Lots of strength through the left leg. A lot of openness through the chest, too. Take one last inhale. Softly set the right hand down. Standing splits. If you're taking that option, close your eyes so you're not distracted. Otherwise, bend the right knee enough to get your palms on the ground. And then just do little kick-ups. Bend the right knee enough. Straighten the left leg. Keep it straight. And like a hammer, just swing it up. Maybe 6 or 7 times. Gorgeous. And that's about it right there. Last inhale from the splits. Feet together, exhale. Inhale, flatten the back, and then just fold in. Good. Separate your feet. A little wider than your shoulders this time. Point your toes out. Yogi squat. Bend the knees and squat down between your feet. Bring the palms together. Lift your heart. Good. So no rounding the shoulders forward here. Instead, draw them back. Good. Good. Find your center. Come back to intention. And then crow pose is there if you want it. Bring the hands down to the floor. You really want to pull the elbows in here. So feel like the chaturanga muscles working. Maybe just play with one foot today. Maybe play with no feet. Use the strength of the core to lift the heels higher. Last 3. In 2, we're all going to do a vinyasa. 1, step or jump the feet back. Good. And then flow through it. Very nice. One more standing series? Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. Reach the right leg back as you inhale. Go ahead and bend that right knee, open the hip a little bit. Should feel kind of good. And then right knee to the left elbow across the body. Sure, if you want to arm balance, you could do that. Otherwise, go ahead and sweep the right leg back, maybe open it, and then right knee, left elbow, second of 3. Inhale, sweep it back, maybe open. 3rd time's the charm, knee to left elbow. Inhale, sweep it back, and then step it through. Spin your back foot flat. Come up to warrior 1. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Good. Keep your right arm up. Drop your left hand behind your back. Climb that left hand as high up the spine as you can. And then bend the right elbow. See if you can clasp your hands. A towel's a nice prop here if you cannot. Once you get the hands together, keep that right hip tucked back, and then just lean forward from your waist. So you might go pretty far. You might not go too far. Good. Keep the shoulder stretch. If you don't have the hands together, fake it. Faking it's still a lot of benefits of the same thing as not faking it. Good. And then slowly come back up. Reach the right arm up and really slowly reach that left arm up. Good. And bring the hands to the waist, straighten your right leg, step your back foot in a foot at least, maybe more if you have a really wide stance. Good. Reach your left arm forward. Hinge at your waist, lean forward, flat back, flat back. And then place the left hand down either to the shin, the ankle, or the floor, or a block, and reach the right arm up. Good. So you're opening that right chest and you're driving that left heel down. Just wringing it out like a sponge, including the detoxifier, which is your breath. Gorgeous. Keep breathing. Take one more inhale. Bring the right hand down. So frame that right foot. Slide your left foot back a little bit. Set your left knee down on the ground. Good. And straighten your right leg. So you're in a half split. Slide the right heel forward a little bit probably. Maybe a whole lot if you want to change it into a 3/4 or full split. Flex your right toes to the point back to your nose. Take an inhale, lift your chest. See if you can get a little longer. And then on the exhale, fold in a little bit to get deeper. And then just kind of very micro level, keep doing that on your own. Every inhale is a little longer, and every exhale is a little deeper. Good. So isolating the hamstring on the right leg. Always a sweet moment. Good. We're going to do both legs here pretty soon. We still got the whole other side to do, so let's go ahead and do the last standing pose on this side. What you're going to do is come back to that half split if you went to the full split. And then bend the right knee to get the whole foot on the ground, that right foot. Bring the hands to the top of the right thigh. And just climb your way up. Good. See how tall you can get here. Reach your left arm straight up. And then twist. Left elbow out of right thigh. Good. Use the palms together if you'd like. And if you want to add leverage, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee off the ground. There's an arm balance here too. It's called side crow. Just basically take whatever you need. You're writing your own prescription today. Good. Everybody slowly come up to crescent pose. Big inhale. And then hands to the ground, frame the foot, pigeon pose, heel toe the right foot over to the left. And surrender over the right hip. Should be a nice moment. So if you're new to pigeon, you want to be on top of the left kneecap, even though there's a tendency to want to roll onto the outer edge of the leg. And then don't rush into it. Take your time. Find as much length as you can. So when you're newer to the practice, this is borderline miserable. But when you keep showing up consistently, start to open the hips and open the emotional body, I think this is why we show up. So more than ever, it's important to understand contraction so that we can relax into a posture that is all about release and surrender. So every exhale, just use that as an opportunity to get a little deeper. And 5 more deep breaths. Good. Everybody slowly come up to the palms. Stack them underneath the shoulders. Press the arms straight. Tuck those left toes. Lift the left knee up. And then diligently pull that right leg all the way back. Lift the right leg. Bend the right knee. Stack those hips. Easily flip it out if you have room, if you want to. Come back around to downward facing dog and just come back to that mantra of doing what we need to do rather than what we want to do, so that we'll get this other side done. Lift the left leg, bend the left knee, open up the hip. So it all ends right here where the sequence begins. We open the hip to start, and then left knee, right elbow, twisted across, balance if you have it in your practice. Otherwise, sweep it back, maybe open it again. And then second time, right elbow, power it across. Inhale, sweep it back and maybe open. Third time with lots of power, strength. Good. Inhale, sweep it back. And then step it through. Spin your back foot flat. Come up to warrior one just for one breath. Keep your left arm up. Drop your right hand behind your back. A towel, if it's handy, might help. Good. Climb that right hand up. Connect the hands. Good. And then if leaning forward is possible without releasing the hands, then lean forward over that left thigh. Keep the left hip plugging back and underneath like warrior one legs. You're not going to be here long. I know anytime I get in this pose, fight or flight kicks in pretty soon. A lot of tension in the shoulders and the hips. That's why we're saving it for last. Good. Use the strength of your left leg. Come all the way back up. Left arm just goes straight up. That right arm loves to come out slow. Reach it up. And then hands to the hips. Straighten the left knee. Step that back foot in a good amount. 12 inches at least. Point those right toes forward. Reach the right arm forward. Good. So with those hips square, reach that right arm forward. And then start to lean forward with a flat back. See how long you can get. And then, set the right hand down. Ankle, shin, floor, or block. Rotate the left chest, left ribs open. And then reach that left arm straight up. And if you can keep that right heel on the ground, that's ideal. If it's not on the ground, step it in a little bit closer. Good. nice. And then just breathe. Good. Take one last inhale here. Set your left hand down outside your left foot. Slide your right leg back a lot. And set your right knee on the floor. Straighten your left knee. Half split. Slide that left heel forward a bit. Maybe a lot. And then just kind of drop into it, you know. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Fold in as you exhale. Keep doing that at a very micro level at your own. So there's like a tiny vinyasa in every pose. There's always a flow going on. Every inhale is an opportunity for decompression, and then the exhale is for compression. And just moving through opposites. The inhale, the exhale. Contraction, relaxation. Masculine, feminine, positive, negative. Extrovert, introvert. Gorgeous. Take your time here. Meet back in the half splits if you went deeper. And everybody bend that left knee. Stack the knee on top of the ankle. Climb the hands on top of your left thigh. So alignment's important here. Reach the right arm up after you climb yourself up. Get longer, get taller. Keep the length. Twist to the left. Hook the right elbow out or left knee. And sure, tuck the right toes if you want to. Lift the knee up. Otherwise, stay here. The last couple of strong things of the day. Breathe it up. Last 3, 2. You can keep your knee down if it's there. Everybody crescent pose, reach the arms up. Take a couple breaths. And then that good old pigeon pose. Hands down, frame the foot. Heel toe, heel toe. You gotta let that right knee come down. Good. Let it go. Good. Last 5 deep breaths. And then come back up. Plant the palms, tuck those back toes. Let's come back to that 3-legged down dog. Open the hips, stack them if you want to flip it out. Flip it out. just going to meet in the last down dog. Another day, another down dog. Take a big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, let it go. Set the knees down, crawl them forward a bit. Cross the ankles behind you. Sit down behind your heels. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Reach the arms up. Take an inhale, climb out of the waist. Exhale, fold over your legs, which are either straight. Unless you can't reach the feet, then bend your knees. Keep the big toes rolling in towards each other a bit. Take an inhale, lift the chest, get longer. Exhale, fold in, lift the navel, get deeper. This is our last seated stretch, guys. Breathe, get long through the spine. Last long inhale here. And lay down on your back as you exhale. Good. Those knees a nice hug into the chest. Good. Setting up for a back bend. Set the feet on the ground, hips width apart. Lift your hips off the ground. Do it with length in your tailbone. So lengthen it towards the front wall. And feel the muscles engaged. Keep using those. Lift the hips higher. Good. If you want to take the hands behind the back and interlace them, you could do that. Good. Feel free to move into a deeper back bend here. Take the hands behind your shoulder blades. Moving into upward facing bow. Crown of the head and then press all the way up. Arms are pressing towards straight, but maybe not completely straight. And breathe deeply, unrestrictedly, heart center. Good. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, release down. Place the palms on the ground, legs straight up in the air. You're just going to stay right here, or you're going to press those feet up and over your head. If you have an inversion practice other than shoulder stand, feel free to take that today, headstand or handstand, forearm stand. Otherwise, from plow pose, just bring those hands to the lower back. Walk the elbows in a little bit, and then extend the legs up one at a time, vertically. Really point the toes. Press through those feet. See how tall you can get. Good. If you went to shoulder stand, take your time here, relax your feet back over the head. Next, just bring those arms out in front of you, place the hands flat on the ground. And use those flat hands to help protect your spine as you take your time and roll out of it one vertebrae at a time. When the lower back touches the ground, hug the knees into your chest. Extend your left leg forward, drop the right knee to the left. Open your right arm to the right. And then turn your head to the right. back to center. Hug the left knee in, straighten the right leg. And then twist, final twist, left knee drops to the right, open the left arm to the left, turn your head to the left if you'd like. And any remaining tension, see if you can let it go. Any nooks or crannies that you're observing that are still holding contraction, see if you can relax them. Come back to the center line. Last thing, hug the knees into the chest. And then what we do here is we just start to get fully tense. So wrap the knees around, put those arms around the knees, pull the nose to the knees to the nose. Tense every muscle fiber that you own. Take a big inhale, hold that breath in. 5, 4, 3, sip in a little more air. 2, 1, 0, let it go. Complete relaxation. Give yourself just a second or two here to get comfortable. So palms up, knees open, eyes closed or covered. And then just see how deep you can drop into that space. We started the practice here. It's only fitting that we end here. We talked about contraction and relaxation. And now we're just exploring the full relaxed body. The 3 parts of Savasana are the physical body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. And if that freaks you out, it's the emotional body. So all the poses we did took care of the first one, the physical body. All the breathing we did took care of the mental body. But the emotional body is a little trickier. That's what this pose is all about. You just go inside and you start to find that place that's always been there. It's just a little easier to see it now. This is a place of infinite possibility and potential. Completeness, wholeness, freedom. It's full of life and vigor. And that's the real you. The deeper you drop into that space, the deeper the reward will be. And welcome to yoga. a couple minutes on your back, so you could stay there. Just place your left hand on your heart, the right hand on your stomach. Let's end the practice on our backs today. Feel that connection, mind-body. Feel the right hand, the warmth of it into the stomach. Take a big inhale into that. Open the mouth, let it go. And feel the hand covering the heart and the warmth. Take a bigger inhale into that. And then open the mouth, let it go. Be grateful for your practice. Drink plenty of water. Good job, you guys. Namaste.